Welcome, everyone, to the Sickles Committee Podcast. This is our podcast for the evening of August 6th, 2023. We live now in a post-Pac-12 world. This is our first recording since the untimely death of the conference. We'll talk a little about that, but also about the usual just amounts of weirdness that we always do. We are now officially 3 weeks away, 2 weeks away. Someone help me. Is it 2 weeks?
20 days.
It's 2 weeks away from week 0. 20 days?
20
from
days.
Week 0. Okay. 20 days, half September, April, June. No, never mind.
Yeah, I need a little bit more August to be left than that.
I am actually so ready to be done with this fucking month. I hate August so much.
I'm with you. Hate it.
I just have a bunch of things that are due for work on September 1st. So, please don't.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
We will not skip August for you then.
Thank you.
As always, I'm Jordan. With me tonight, I've always got Commish, PittGirl, and then we have guests tonight, Michael and Andrew, Nebraska Andrew. Nebraska Andrew, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I successfully finished my master's program this week.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Or this past week. So
Congrats.
I have mastered science,
Hell yeah.
Yes.
which is always a good feeling. And now I'm just slowly learning what it's like to have free time again.
Ooh, that's...
Yeah.
You forget about that, don't you?
Yeah.
Michael, how are you, sir?
Doing pretty good. Got relegated to the kids' playroom tonight, and so tried to broadcast from the princess castle behind me,
Ooh.
but
Ooh.
it wasn't quite working, so just outside.
PittGirl?
I'm good. I made grill dinner tonight. A very nice variant on girl dinner. If you know, you know.
Grill dinner.
Grill dinner. I have also rediscovered Switch Sports, and Switch Sports has golf now, and it didn't the last time I
Ooh.
played it. And it's a good
Hey.
time.
Mish?
I'm good. Just chilling this weekend, setting temperature records in San Antonio left and right.
It has been another stupidly hot weekend.
105.
The
How
South.
you doing? 105. What's up?
That's so stupid. So stupid.
Currently feels
I will
like
say-
103 as I'm recording. Lovely.
Oh, God.
At 9 p.m. At 9 p.m.
9 p.m. Central.
Gross.
Yes.
Gross.
Yeah, I agree with PittGirl. I think that is gross.
Do you guys want to feel bad about the weather? I mean, I know you already feel bad about the weather, but do you want to feel extra bad about the weather?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure.
Obnoxiously, Pitt boyfriend and I had the windows open all week. We
God
just
damn
now
it.
closed them and turned the AC on because
God.
it's slightly too hot and slightly too humid, and I was sweating inside.
Oh,
Oh,
I mean,
sounds awful. Sweating inside.
oh my God. Getting that seasonal depression from staying inside in the air conditioning because it's too freaking hot to step outside to do a damn thing.
I do get more sad in the summer
Seriously. Like, I get sick in the summer.
than I do in the winter.
Like,
Yeah.
I go outside and it's just dry as hell, dusty everywhere, and then I have, like, my allergies act up. But in the winter, here in Texas, the winter, whatever, I'm like, it's great. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You know? But in the summer, we have the opposite of seasonal depression, I guess. It's just too hot. You just want to die. At least we're not in Arizona where you fall on the pavement and burn yourself and have to go to the hospital.
It's true.
Well, do you guys know what week this is? This is World Championship Week for Drum Corps International.
Ooh.
Shout out to our good friend Arch, who is with his beloved Blue Devils, who look like they may be winning their bajillionth championship this year. I'm not going to jinx it, but they are
That is
currently-
very Blue Devil of them.
It is extremely Blue Devils of them.
Do we have a dynasty on our hands?
I mean, the Blue Devils are definitely the dynasty. Let me get the exact number because they have won a whole bunch. If you don't know what I'm talking about out there in listening land, Drum Corps International is basically professional marching band. You have to be a certain age. You can't be over, I think, 23 or 24. But they do this all summer. They tour, and then they go at the very end and have their big event in Indianapolis, which has been the past couple years. The Blue Devils have been basically world championships every decade since the 70s. They've won a whole bunch. Let's see here.
I feel like they came through Nebraska last year.
They do. Their tour all summer is through. Last year was their 20th title. They're going for 21 this time, which is they're setting their own records basically. And yeah, it's great stuff. This week is very intense. They have to go through prelims and mid-lim, or the middle one, and then semifinals and finals. And you win your world championship, and it's great. So congratulations to everyone out there who's going to the Indianapolis World Championships. If you're anywhere near Indy, go to this show. It's incredible. If you're like a passive band geek, like had your band days and want to see what what big time drum corps is doing nowadays, go.
Hold on.
Mhm.
Define the term passive band geek for me, please.
If you were a band geek like back in the day and don't like keep up with it, then go, because then you'll see what it looks like now, which is a whole different thing. Depending on when you march, a whole different thing. Because back when I marched high school back in 2002, like we were on. Don't fucking laugh. I gotta hate you.
Tell me about the war, Grandpa.
Shut up. Shut up. Like we were still constrained by not having speakers or electronics. We had to stay between like the end zones. That was something you couldn't like leave the end zones or the sidelines.
I mean,
and now they're doing fucking weird shit.
I mean, there was no Wi-Fi back in the day.
I know.
There was no Bluetooth.
There was the best part was we had our director at high school had a wireless mic with a giant speaker, and the metronome was also mic'd into the speaker. We called it the Hellhammer. And whenever our high school was near the city's main stadium, so when the other high schools would practice at the stadium, because everyone had the same system and there was no multiple channels, we'd get their director through our mic, through our speaker, which was always a great time. And hearing him be like, "Those assholes are over there. They can probably hear you playing and how shit you sound." It was great. Good times. Anyways, the Blue Devils actually trained this year in Wyoming, at University of Wyoming, at altitude, because getting your oxygen level and working on breathing and everything. So our good friend Arch actually spent about a month out in Laramie training, quote unquote, training with the boys and girls of these Blue Devils.
Yeah, I guess if you're used to marching and stuff at altitude, when you get back to sea level, you can probably hold those notes forever.
Yep. Some of the corps do this thing where when they run laps and do practices, whatever, they take a piece of PVC pipe, cut off like about 2-inch length, and they put it between their teeth when they run. So you have to take in full air when you do anything. You pass out the first couple of times, but eventually your body learns to regulate that much oxygen. Yeah.
They just need to learn how to do the circular breathing.
If they could,
was that Dizzy Gillespie who could do that?
Lots of people. Lots of people. I know some folks that can do it too. It's so weird because you have to hold the air in your cheek and compress it out with your face while
you're basically a human bagpipe.
Right. Exactly. Exactly right. I've often referred to myself as that, both in music and my love life. So there you go. I don't know what that means.
I'm not checking Urban Dictionary for that. Someone else can search that.
Hold up.
Sickos, drop in the comments what you think that
Urban
means.
Dictionary, human bagpipe.
Oh
man.
Is that going in?
Oh no, there is.
Is that going in the
there
Discord?
There is only a bagpiping, which is either no, not going to say any of these things here.
Yep, just look it up on your own, Sickos.
Yep, there you go.
Yep, you can have that on your own search history.
Maybe not do it at work.
Also, want to say a fond farewell to the women of the Women's World Cup. I'm sorry if you woke up for that one, because I was up just for the PKs. That Swedish keeper was 100 feet tall and had 20 arms. So I'm gonna tell my kid that's how that went. It was rough. And then I don't know if you guys saw the actual goal line shot technology of the not saved last Swedish kick. It was.
I've seen pictures of it, but I didn't know like what it was.
So the ball,
I didn't watch the PKs.
So the ball has to go entirely in soccer. The ball has to go entirely across the goal line to score.
Okay.
And they have, just like how tennis has the like in and out graphics. The USFL has that like first down like tech, and then in college football we still bring out 10 yards of chain and hope that we're close.
Mm-hmm.
But for soccer, they have goal line technology now that can show you how close you were. I don't know that I could have gotten a sheet of paper between the line and the ball. Like it was the last, just like on the atomic level.
So you're saying there was a little bit of ball still on the line, so it was not.
No, it was American saving a Swedish PK, so it was
okay.
Just over, like
this far over,
so close. And
okay.
So yeah, it was basically a millimeter over, and the Americans were defeated by the metric system.
Like always,
Grandpa Simpson said it was the tool of the devil.
It was.
There's actually highways in Arizona flagged with the metric system that have like metric system distances.
Oh yeah.
One of the few places in the U.S. that actually has metric on their highway signs.
Is
I
it?
mean, we tried really hard to switch to metric in the 70s. My mom
Yeah.
remembers having to learn all of the metric stuff much more seriously than you learn it in high school science class because we were really gonna switch to metric and then we didn't.
So now that the U.S. is out, everyone has their stupid hot takes that are fucking useless. Right.
So did you
And-
want to talk about? No, I'm not. I don't want to mention.
God,
I don't want to mention that
don't-
guy's name. Sorry. I'm done
Don't
with it.
even fucking do
He's-
it.
The U.S. women's national team did not lose because they're gay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Or woke.
woke.
Or woke.
Or have blue hair or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, we'll just leave that all for the message
just
board geniuses.
They can do that. Yeah, that's fine.
Did they tarmac the coach yet?
I mean, everybody wants. I was like, somebody was mentioning earlier in our Discord. They were just like, did they tarmac the coach yet? I was like, well, technically it's a 15-hour flight to get home, so they still wouldn't have arrived yet. They were like, well, they could have tarmacked them in like Australia or New Zealand, wherever they were.
It's not the worst place to get left.
I mean,
No.
it could definitely be worse airports, I think.
I think the best thing I saw was when we agreed to pay the U.S. women like the men, we didn't expect them to play like the men.
Ouch.
Oh,
Ay, ay, ay.
This is just part of the cycle. It'll be fine. Winning 3 in a row is
I would just
almost literally impossible.
I would just say, like, do not read the Instagram comments. Don't do it.
Fuck no!
Don't do it.
God,
don't
do that.
don't read the comments.
Don't read the
That's for
comments.
message board geniuses.
No.
That's for our friends at message board
They
geniuses.
can do that. Don't read the comments.
The comments are not for you.
Mm-mm.
You have not sufficiently exposed yourself and hardened yourself against the dangers that lurk in the comments.
Well, I guess we have to talk about the Pac-12. We're gonna crack some jokes about some of this because that's what we do. Because we keep things light.
humor is a coping mechanism.
Ding ding
this-
ding.
But like this fucking sucks. Let's be very clear here that there's no one on this podcast, there's no one that we talk to regularly that's like, this is a great thing. Because the loss of the regionality of college football is a death knell to what makes it interesting and unique.
I was gonna say that's what I love the most about college football is the regionality.
Yes. And
The
the more
soul
we
of
get
the sport lies in the regionality, and nobody asked for this except for a bunch of guys in suits.
like literally no one asked for this. And it's just because of TV deals and where the money is in the sport that caused this. And then I'm going to skip ahead slightly. In all this insanity, this Pac-12 thing folding wasn't the stupidest thing I heard. It was folks at Florida State going, we need to inject private equity firms
Yes.
to get out of the ACC.
Look,
That is
I'm-
the
okay,
stupidest thing
hold
I've
on.
heard.
So they're gonna get involved with J.P. Morgan Chase, right? From what I
And
see?
Saudi investment
And
money.
Saudi invest- So I'm, again, I don't want to dox myself, but no, I can't say anything. I just it's just like I can't.
What
no,
happens-
seriously, the company that you're getting involved with, I have a lot of things I want to say about that company, but I cannot. But
Eventually, the line will stop going up, and then we will find out what happens.
I mean, like
what?
that's the guy that lost like $6 billion on an investment, and they were like, "Oops, my bad." And then Florida State's like, "Yeah, let's go with them."
There's also an
I-
argument to be made that the line is actively in the process of stopping going up. Like TV money, Netflix is a great example. All of these broadcasters were able to create and streamers were able to create all of this new content and do all of this stuff and buy all of these rights in part because interest rates were low and money was basically free. Money's not free anymore, guys, which is one of several reasons why Florida State attempting to mortgage its brand value for $500 million to get out of the ACC. If I'm a lender, I'm not a finance person, but if I'm a lender, I look at the current interest rates, I look at Florida State's brand value, which is not as high as it thinks it is, and I'm like, you are never going to make as much money back out of this as you think you are. I am not lending you this money. Not with 6% interest rates. Nope.
But here at Sicko's Bank, we are happy to let you mortgage your brand value against $500 million.
Sicko's Bank, founded by Silicon Valley Bank compliance interns.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State, you just won the Cheez-It Bowl. You have a lot of equity. Would you like a home equity line of credit? You could use it to upgrade Doak Campbell Stadium.
I was gonna say, can we put a reverse mortgage on Doak Campbell?
Reverse mortgages.
Like the worst. No one. I wish to God the one lesson we have learned in the last 15 fucking years is that injecting private equity folks into anything is a goddamn bad idea, because eventually line stops going up and they just cut it.
They're constantly making new MBAs. We will never learn.
No.
says the person who just got the master's in science. Yes. Lovely.
Yes,
Hey,
not
not
an
an
MBA.
MBA.
No, not
Not
an
an
MBA. He conquered science, not the business administration portion. So
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, because private equity did so much for newspapers, saved them
save them
all.
all.
hmm
And
Another
and,
Florida
notably
State, we're
and
pivoting to
healthcare.
green.
regional thing.
and healthcare, man, private equity and healthcare, best thing that's happened.
Oh.
Yep.
Great.
It's always great. Run everything like a business. It's fucking amazing. Anyways, let's talk about something less sad than that, which is the death of the Pac-12. I can't wait for the new commercial to come out, because it's going to be like those Game of Thrones episodes where they're like, oh shit, we're going to Karth now. We got to jump across the narrow sea. We're going to have to zoom way back to fucking get all the teams in the map.
The old
Oh, the
Pac-12
Big
map
12
that
map?
or the old Big
the
Ten
Big
ad
Ten.
that everybody liked
Yeah.
started at the Rose Bowl too.
Yes. So we were okay with SC and
UCLA.
uh,
UCLA.
UCLA.
There you go.
That was okay.
Yeah, not the
Yeah, we got
forgotten
that.
part now. Yeah.
But now we're gonna have to like cut north to the wall, and then swing the fucking camera around. Oh shit, we're going to Old Town too. It's one of those episodes.
So are they going to start it by like throwing a fish at you in Seattle,
Oh, I like that.
and then they swing to the tower, maybe a little bit of Dr. Fraser Crane up in there.
and then cut down to Eugene, and it's just puddles like thrusting at the camera.
Oh baby, the Big Ten is calling. Toss salad and scrambled eggs. Sorry.
Tossed salad and scrambled eggs is basically a Minnesota is a Minnesota lunch.
You said
These
hot dish.
all
I think
also
you're
sound
too
like
Minnesota
things that
for
you
us.
don't want to search on Urban Dictionary.
Yep.
I think that if you want to talk about how there was this juxtaposition between people, a lot of people being like, so much tradition is ruined, all of this is bad, and then you had one of the Oregon board chair doing the fucking like his Zoom call from the golf course, and that sort of speaks to the incongruity of like, this is so serious for so many people. He's like, I'm not gonna let this shit ruin my mid 18. It's 2 p.m. baby. I got tea time.
Fuck Rick in the sand trap. I got a Zoom call.
Yeah, right.
He looks like somebody who wouldn't
I
rake
know.
the sand trap too.
I don't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
know who it is, but
Definitely
He's not
doesn't
replacing- not
rake.
replacing his
clearly,
duties. There's no-
the rake
No.
is in the other sand trap in this picture. He is not going to get it. He is running to the Zoom call.
Intern. The intern is there. It's the intern's job.
Sure.
Intern holding the phone in one hand and the rake
Yeah.
in the other.
Your intern is also your caddy. That falls under duties as assigned.
I just realized that Frazier was at a Rutgers game last year, right?
Yes,
Yes.
And
He
then
was.
Frazier-
The Nebraska Rutgers game.
Frazier is based in Seattle, so the Big Ten has just basically completed the Frazier trilogy or whatever. Just filled for Frazier's legacy.
We need to get Boston
Frazier's
College.
finally gone coast to coast.
Frazier.
We need Boston College now because he was.
Yeah,
already
it was like
on
Boston College.
They got to get Boston
Yeah, and
College.
cheers.
Cheers.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's
They
That's
have
what
half
the
$1
Big Ten
billion
needs.
for Boston College.
I.
Hey, once private equity gets there.
That's right.
This is something that we don't know the finances as well as a lot of other people. Read a lot of other people about finance and stuff like that. But the stuff that I do know is that the stuff that makes me go like, ooh, was that UCLA and USC, when they got brought into the Big Ten, they were brought in as full members.
Mhm.
Nebraska was not brought in as a full member. Rutgers was not. Maryland was not. They were hazed for several years. And by hazed, I mean had their money cut. And when UCLA USC came in, they were like, nope, you get full numbers. And what happened to Washington and Oregon? Half price, baby. Fucking half price.
That's how bad that TV deal was.
So the Atlantic had a great article about this. And they found out what the Pac-12 deal actually was. It was 5 years, $23 million per school, basically. But we had incentives. If there were 1.7 million subscribers to Apple TV and the Pac-12 Plus package, you would get 31.7 million, which would basically meet the Big 12 numbers. But then, what's his name? Kleavkov told the room to think bigger. At 5 million subscribers, the schools would eclipse 50 million per year. That's Big 10 money. Now, Commish, you did the math.
I did.
To get to 1.7 million subscribers, what percentage of the population of the Pac-12 states would have to be subscribed?
2.4%.
2.4% of the entire population of Pac-12 country would have to have subscribed to this.
Yes.
That's
so
insane.
roughly, just based off of the percentages and everything, I think the area had about 70 million population just from the states in the Pac-12 schools. And yeah, basically that's, I don't know. And then I was like, well, how much are they going to sell it for? Because the MLS Plus is what? Like $15 a month or like $99 for the full season. And if they would sell it at that rate, I don't know what it would be. Yeah, looking about 2.4% of the population to reach the 1.7 million to subscribe this, which is, I'd say that's a lot. I don't know how many people subscribe to Netflix or like would subscribe to Apple TV and then pay the bonus on top of that.
Right?
I think that's the rub there.
Yeah.
Like, I am a sicko. I do not currently pay for Apple TV. I would love to be able to watch the Pac-12 network in a universe where the Pac-12 network still exists. But I'm not spending whatever Apple TV costs and then another $20 a month on top of it. Like, I'm just not. I am a person under 30 who still pays for cable because I like having all of the sports in the same place.
Yeah, I have YouTube TV, and that's enough for me. I'm not going to get Apple TV just for Pac-12.
So NFL Sunday Ticket last year had 2.4 million subscribers.
Wait, are you kidding me?
No.
So
Pac-12 was going to need to have NFL-like popularity
Sure.
to reach Big 12 levels.
What the?
And the biggest brands, well, Oregon has pretty high enrollment, but USC is a private school. They're the biggest brand in the well, they left. But like most of the big brands in the Pac-12 are not like high enrollment schools, so you can't count on like a huge alumni base.
Right.
Arizona State notwithstanding.
Yeah, there's like 100,000 of them out there. What the fuck? But again, they haven't been great recently, and they don't have. But that's fine. We decided to nuke this entire thing because we couldn't get a TV deal together, and everyone got real twitchy. We joked for so long, ha ha ha. It's gotta watch it on your TV, gotta watch it on a fucking fridge, gotta watch it on a whatever. And little did we know, that was what they had.
Yeah.
Those were the cards they were holding. The Athletic article also said that that some of the presidents were expecting a more standard deal as well for them to have, and that was the one where Kleavkov said something like, "Oh, he had something in his back pocket," but that apparently evaporated before the July 31 date. Yikes!
All of this sucks so hard.
It does. It just feels like mismanagement on like so many different fronts. I mean, the numbers to me, because the base was like what 23 mil a year.
23. They countered with 25.
And then they countered with 25. I mean, 25. It's a $6 million difference. The only problem is everybody in the Pac-12 was broke because of Larry Scott making them build their entire network and run it them damn selves.
Yeah, don't forget they still owe $50 million to Comcast.
I think it was 70 million.
Because
Supposedly Apple was going to take care of that in the deal, which probably was a sweetener for some of the schools. Maybe Cal, who is incredibly in debt. Apparently, we learned.
Oh, up to their eyeballs.
I mean, I don't even know up to their eyeballs. I think they're like they're deep inside the Mariana Trench of debt. It feels like the fans did nothing wrong, the players did nothing wrong. It was just there's not any leadership. There's just an absolute void of it. There's not any governance in the NCAA unless you eat too many cheeseburgers. There's not any governing body saying like, hey, you know, the Oregon volleyball team has to go play Rutgers and Maryland and then back in West Lafayette and then have in 1 week. Sure, that's fine. Yeah, go right ahead and let them do that. I'm sure that's great. Just a failure of leadership, and then leadership is not going to pay the price. The fans are, the players are. It sucks.
Do you know the best? Do you know the best take? The Stanford tree had the best fucking take.
Yeah, it did.
I'm gonna quote the Stanford tree.
There you go.
Realignment doesn't help players or fans. It just lines the pockets of media executives who don't pay their writers.
There you go.
There you go, Stanford tree.
I see why the Stanford tree got suspended though, for saying stuff like that. He keeps it too real, or the tree, not he or she. I don't want to gender the tree. It's the tree.
The last tree was a woman. I'm not sure who the next tree is going to be.
I have no idea because the tree is still suspended, right?
No.
Oh,
tree's okay now.
They freed the tree. Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord.
Tangential but related. I just want to take a second to talk about how this happened. Washington and Oregon left. Everybody was like, this is going to kill the Apple Cup and the Platypus Trophy. And then Washington and Oregon were both like, actually, no, we're still going to play those. I am kind of the opinion that Washington State and Oregon State should tell Washington and Oregon to go piss up a flagpole.
Yep.
Like, it's very, we're going to destroy you. We're going to leave you with no money when you've just renovated your stadium and invested in facilities and all of this stuff. But we're still going to do this for you. Nah, fuck that. I just, all of this is awful. I hate it.
Just nuking the stuff that makes this good, or the stuff that makes it shit. And I asked friend of the program, Matt Brown, like, why don't we just do football only conferences? Like, maybe that would, we lose some of the football stuff, but at least then we're not destroying our non-revenue sports by making them go across the country multiple times. And it's got to do with just some complexities, he said, and also that when you're selling these media deals, you need inventory. And so being able to be like, here's all these basketball games too, or here's all these fucking volleyball games you can put on as well. When places need media inventory just to show games, they're there. I want to play some fucking football. I just want to play some football and be able to look at the weird, fun things. I would rather I want to talk about fucking UMass New Mexico State. I don't want to sit here and grouse about how shitty this is and how in a year we're going to have like who the fuck knows what the Pac-12 is going to look like? Who the fuck knows what Oregon State and Washington State and Cal and Stanford are going to do? And that's just, it sucks. This all sucks.
My one hope is if Stanford, Cal, Oregon State, and Wazoo go to the Mountain West, and I guess they merge or whatever, or they just go to the Mountain West, because I know the Mountain West schools can't pay $34 million to get into the Pac-4 at this point. I hope they maintain auto qualifying status and they don't take that away from them, but I think they are.
I don't see a way that they retain it.
Yeah.
There's just not, like, as much as I would like to see them keep it, there's an even worse case for them to have AQ status than when the dregs of the Big East had it.
It sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's just awful. Again, I know the players, whatever, the football players you play once a week, essentially. I doubt they're going to make them travel for a Thursday game, or I mean, maybe the Thursday game will just be on the West Coast, or just maintain whatever the East Coast Big Ten teams are. Again, the ones that I feel for are the Olympic sports, which I know a lot of them were tweeting. It was just like, hey, I went to this school because my parents could attend all my games. I didn't sign up to be flying 6 hours to Piscataway, New Jersey to play Rutgers in softball. And again, I'm not slandering Rutgers. This is not your fault, Rutgers. We love you.
We're slandering the distance.
This is a distance. Yeah, this is a distance
again,
thing, not a.
Yeah.
Like we could say the same thing about flying to Maryland.
Yeah, I mean Maryland
players flying to LA.
Flying into, I mean, where do you fly in when you go to Happy Valley? I mean, do they have an airport? I don't know.
I hear it's really hard to get into State College as an athlete or a fan. So
yes.
So I mean, where do you fly in for a Penn State game? I mean, I'm sure they make some sort of arrangements for football, but I'm just imagining the folks flying commercial.
Yeah,
because they're gonna make them fly to what, Pittsburgh or Philly?
Pittsburgh is the largest airport. You could fly into Harrisburg and drive up 322. Philly would be a long drive.
Yeah, but again, my geographic region, I will definitely defer that to you because you live in that state.
I do.
Yes, so I definitely will defer to your directions there. So it's just ridiculous. You're gonna make them fly and then play like 3 or 4 games. Just imagine if you're on, Washington's tennis team. I mean, what? And then are those sports gonna
Especially
hang
because they
around?
do midweek games too.
Yeah,
Right.
are those sports gonna hang around because they can't afford to pay to travel anymore because they don't have a full share? I don't know.
And then we
Some of them have to because of Title IX.
and then we
don't
get
they?
into Title IX
Yeah.
issues
Mhm.
where
Well, and I
No.
saw some tweets flying around that that were saying like estimated travel costs for Oregon are in the $10 million range.
yes, it is.
Mhm.
And they're only making 30, so they're making less at least the first couple years till the next negotiation than they would have even with the bad Apple deal.
Yeah.
They're the aristocrats
We got to make the line go up.
because it feels good when the line goes up. And now for our new sicko NFT.
Invest in Bitcoin.
Yes.
Invest in Bitcoin.
Did I tell you I actually looked up what it would take to actually start a cryptocurrency? Not as much as you would think.
It's all fake anyways. So.
Right.
Could we start selling that on our store? I don't know if that'll work out.
Sickos Committee NFTs.
Sicko NFTs.
Make them
Sickoin.
actual printouts.
I want Commish to do a week of research and come explain to us what an NFT actually does and how you transfer one to another person. I'd be so excited for this.
That's the new Commish's Corner.
Sure, I'll just do that on the Commission's Corner and the Patreon. I'll explain to you what an NFT is. No, get out of here! Not doing that shit. Just no, not gonna happen. Just cryptocurrency. An NFT. Just the sickos guy as the NFT.
Oh yeah.
Just we make a special one, and we'll sell it for I don't know, 15.
No,
million.
we do procedurally generated. Everyone gets their own sicko ape.
Yes. Sicko ape. Jesus. What? Oh, God.
If
You
you
can power it up with slurp juice.
exactly, you need 4 slurps to get your sicko ape to the top power.
Again, I've heard these words said before. I don't know what they mean. And as soon as like somebody started talking about NFTs, I'm just like I checked out immediately. I am out. I just being this old.
Come on, Commish.
Just being this old.
How many NF Tucks do you
Just
own?
done.
Yeah,
NF
yeah,
Tufts,
wait.
Michigan State.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that's how they afford the deal.
I forgot about that.
The NF
Yeah,
Tuft,
uh-huh.
yes.
Felt like a long time ago, didn't it?
That was a couple years ago.
2020 is a weird
In,
time.
in all of this chaos, you know who decided to talk? Hawaii did. Hawaii's president released a statement. I'm going to read just part of it. Ahem. The once mighty Pac-12, a conference many Hawaii fans followed, is now down to 4 members for the 2024-2025 academic year. Great start. Okay? I'm going to skip down a little bit because my favorite part is this. Hawaii, competes in a football in the Mountain West, the best of the informal group of 5 within the FBS highest level football conferences. Okay, Mountain West. Say that you're the best of the group of 5. Like, okay, let's slow your roll. You've had a bad year or two, okay? Now, this is the quote. After a dalliance by our colleagues at San Diego State University with the Pac-12 in June, our membership remains consistent and strong. This is what happens when you try an open relationship and it doesn't work. You realize you actually have to date people and you're just like, I don't want to fucking do this.
Go off, Hawaii. I really, really hope that Timmy Chang can cash these checks also. I would enjoy it very much if he did.
Could you just imagine, though, if San Diego State spent $17 million to join the Pac-12?
And then how much to get back in the Mountain West? Because they'd have to pay to come back.
Yep.
Okay,
That-
you've been talking about Hawaii, but I went searching for the NF Tuck coin.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I put some in the chat. Apparently, they're numbered.
Yeah, that's the
because
whole
they-
point,
yeah.
is that NFTs are all unique.
Yeah,
You got to have your certificate of
that's right.
authenticity.
So it says NF Tuck coin, right? The ones that I put in the chat, there's a couple
Now,
of them.
Commish, I want you not to look up what the conversion rate is.
Okay.
Because I'm going to ask you, How much do you think half an Ethereum is worth right
That's
now?
about to say, like, their Ethereum, and then half of an Ethereum. So,
Yeah, how much do you think that's
all
worth?
right. So Ethereum, I believe I know what it is, but it's kind of, it's not Bitcoin. It's like below Bitcoin. It's like a sub cryptocurrency below that, I guess.
Sure.
But so I'm assuming it's less than a Bitcoin, just off the top of my
Okay.
head.
How much is Bitcoin worth right now?
So I
Commish?
remember
You know?
at one point a couple years ago, it was like 31K for one like Bitcoin. Now I'm thinking maybe a Bitcoin is maybe worth like $3,000 if you're lucky. So the Ethereum, I'm gonna say if it's half an Ethereum, $125.
Half of an Ethereum currently, or Port might be for-
$900. I looked it up already.
900. Oh my
know.
god.
Ethereum
By
to
the way-
USD is $1,839.
By the way, one Bitcoin is worth $29,000 right now, Commish.
Oh wow.
We were just giving away this Commish's corner for
Oh, man.
free.
I know.
Let's talk about cryptocurrency. NF Tuck, buy it now. By the way, looking at all these numbers, it said like 97 or whatever. They're still number one there, just chilling. You know, you scroll all the way to the bottom. Number one is I don't even know if they've sold any of these. And there's
How much they sell in NF Tuck 1 for?
there's nothing. There's no bid on it at all. NF Tuck 1 is
But
still there.
what's the minimum cost?
Nothing. It's nothing. It's listed for nothing.
Has any of them been sold?
From what I
Wait,
can
we can
tell,
have NF Tuck number 1.
we could. I think. Let me scroll. I gotta get back down here. And it's all Ethereum. You gotta buy an NFT in crypto, so it's just
I think.
Yeah,
I think
you
all,
have to
I think
convert
all NFTs run
actual
Ethereum.
money to Ethereum to then acquire the NFT. This is all real dumb.
it's very
But line goes up.
line goes up. Here we go.
We are not a
It makes-
financial podcast. Do not take financial advice from us. But also,
But Sicko
crypto.
Consulting,
Come on, people.
Sicko Consulting will help you with your finances, and Sicko Bank is happy to take your money. We are not FDIC insured.
There you go. NF Tuck Coin 2 and 1, not for sale,
Oh, but they're not.
and
for
no
sale.
bids yet.
Mm.
So that means they have been bought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So 1 and 2.
that's
So I'm trying to figure out which ones when it would say it was bought. Okay, so number 5. Okay, so 3, 4, and 5, they're all for sale.
okay. They got 1 and 2.
There you go. And they're both listed as at that half Ethereum. So that's $900.
Need a lot more Patreons.
That's what we're gonna do
We'll
with
get
your
there.
money, guys.
We're gonna buy NF
We're gonna go hard
Tuck.
into crypto.
Join our
It's a
Patreon.
business investment.
Hey, line has to keep going
Mine
up.
has. I don't even.
Line always
I
goes
don't
up.
even know how we went down this road, but okay.
This is at least we can laugh at with some sort of just like glee, whatever. It's not nearly as depressing as the other shit.
So NF Tuck number 1 was last sold for 3/4 of an Ethereum.
Okay, so
I don't know at what time, so I don't know what the value of Ethereum was then.
But today that would be about $1,200.
yeah, gotta get your NF Tuck on.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna drop in the chat the new Big 12 because this is the other part of it. We have a new bigger. I thought we would have the biggest Big 12. I was wrong. Big 12 got bigger. We're at 16 members now going into the 2024 season, I believe. Let me get the image with all the teams on it because I need to separate out two things. I am very angry about what happened to the Pac-12. I'm sad for the students that it's screwed over, but I can also be very excited for these 16 teams to be doing anything because these 16 teams, they're a lot of fun. Like
I am so excited.
like in this group, there is not one where I go, this is just dead weight. Like these are all teams that are trying real hard. Not doing well, but they're trying real hard. And that's all you can really ask sometimes.
New Big 12 is going to be, oh no, we accidentally made a conference entirely out of the ACC Coastal. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be so good.
Like there's
Yeah.
there's no one in this conference that I'm going to go like, oh, this is just like, here's the cream of the crop. No, this could be a giant, like this is the crab bucket
Oh, yeah.
in the best way.
It's gonna be great. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, you got Utah out west. That is out west. I'll give you that. But they're not necessarily, guaranteed to be a power the entire time. They can have down years.
It will retire eventually.
And you know what? They have to play BYU,
Yeah.
who fucking hates them.
Yes.
And so that game,
Yes, we do.
And that game is going to turn into a giant fucking knife fight.
Well, I mean, it is called the Holy War.
So
It
excited.
is called the Holy
Yes.
War. I mean,
There's 2 holy wars in the fucking Big 12
Yes.
now.
all the
Yes.
Holy Wars. Let's see.
Oh man! As soon as that news broke, I was just losing my mind because being able to hate Utah again is just it's such a gift.
Yes.
Like I have missed this so much. They've been so annoying online. I mean, BYU fans are also probably the most annoying people online as well. But being able to just actually throw something back at them once we get into conference every single
If
year,
you're-
it's going to be so good.
If you're listening to this and you're under a certain age, you don't remember when Utah was not in a power conference and they were a really good team out in the WAC, but they that chip on their shoulder fucking drove them crazy. So that when they first joined the Pac-12, you could not go fucking 5 minutes without Utah fans reminding you that they were now on a power conference. Things were different now. They were one of the big boys. And for BYU to join a power conference and then Utah have to come in, I'm surprised BYU let this happen.
BYU was always willing to let Utah come in. Utah was one that didn't want to because BYU was more just like, oh, the Thanos meme. You did all of this and look where it brought you back to me.
What's the other Holy War? Is it
Baylor TCU.
Baylor TCU.
Okay, all right. I'll just
Yeah.
it's
way less of a holy war.
okay. I mean, it's
Well, especially because TCU is like the C is basically in name only at TCU now.
so it's okay. I was like, it's not called the Holy War, though, right?
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
What?
Mhm.
Okay. Why did I not know this?
There are several holy wars. I think even Boston College Notre Dame.
Yep, that's
called
also the Holy War.
That's weird. I don't like that.
Yep.
Okay, so it says on Wikipedia, it does not say Baylor and TCU is a holy war. It's called the Revivalry.
Okay, that's fucking stupid. It's the holy.
Okay, that's why I was like, again, don't jump on me. I never heard it referred to as a holy war, but I am not a Texas resident, so yeah, I'm just living in Texas. I'll say that.
I think it's like if you search Baylor TCU the Holy War, you get a YouTube video with that name on it. I think probably both are acceptable. I always thought Revivalry was kind of funny personally, but like mileage may vary.
The Boston College Notre Dame game has a Wikipedia page called the Holy War, so that one has a little more oomph, I believe. Which is funny to think about because, like,
yeah, that feels weird. Like they're, I don't know. I feel like we should be calling this one the Crusades. Like it's, I don't know. They're both Catholic. It's different.
the Vatican Bowl.
Oh wait, no. This can be like we should be calling it the Great Schism.
Ooh,
Yes.
One of them is Roman, one of them is Avignon. This is perfect.
Chestnut Hill really is the Avignon of the U.S. if you think about it. But you know who's doing great right now, guys? The Mac. Good old Mac, just real steady,
Sitting there,
Just vibing.
just vibing.
nothing happening.
If we ignore their dalliances with like Temple and UCF and UMass, and let's not worry about that. They've just been consistent. Things are good. The last team they added was Buffalo, and even then, if you ask most MAC members, Buffalo's like the new kid, and they've still been there for like 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, the MAC doesn't really talk about having Marshall and then Marshall leaving, and then Marshall returning, and then Marshall leaving again. That doesn't really happen that often.
But the MAC is just like this beautiful, consistent flow. Whenever people talk about what they want college football to look like these local important rivalries, they're describing the MAC. And I think that people don't realize that sometimes. Like all those things you want in college football, that's the MAC. Works.
I'm like, I started to think about it. I was like, wait, the Sun Belt is rather consistent. But then I'm reminded of my time in college of like, oh yeah, the Sun Belt had Idaho and New Mexico State.
And Utah State. I did not know that.
And Utah State, and they also had FIU. The Sun Belt, not necessarily as consistent as it's more consistent now. I know they just added a bunch of teams, but they have learned, you know, in their early days, they were exploring different regions, and they've settled down into that Sun Belt region.
I don't like to bring up my pedigree on this show a lot, but there is one conference who's been incredibly consistent. In fact, they dropped some delightful shade because as the Big Ten thing happened, the Ivy League drops. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Ooh.
Fucking fire!
The Ivy League flaming the Big Ten is like the only time I'm going to enjoy the Ivy League attempting to flame anybody. Let's be honest.
As I doff my hat to you, someone then pointed out that Dartmouth does have a keg as a fake mascot, and that's as Wazoo as shit. So just get Wazoo in there. Why would you not?
I mean, the same travel, you know, as the Big Ten, Wazoo would do it because I mean they fly out of Spokane, not Seattle. So you know,
maybe this is done for now. Things can stop for a bit. As Beth said, everyone fucking sit down and just take a deep breath and talk. Don't panic. It's fine.
So one thing that I am really excited about in the new Big 12 is that we have 4 of the original 6 WAC teams in the Big 12 all together again. BYU, Utah, Arizona, and Arizona State all together like it should have been in the beginning. Now we just have more friends.
Let's talk about some sillier stuff.
Yay, sillier stuff.
Lighter
notes.
We had return of the NFL. I know everyone this is super excited about that. Preseason NFL. People bet on that. That's degenerate bullshit. Okay.
That is
like if
you
you're
know
betting,
it's bad if we're calling it degenerate. Good
right?
lord.
That's betting on preseason NFL. Betting on the fucking game in Canton where the power went out. The Jets versus the Browns. People are like, I'm glad NFL's back. There was a great CFL game that night on. And if you guys were watching fucking Jets Browns over the CFL that night, rethink your priorities. But was this NBC?
Yeah,
It was
NBC,
correct?
yes.
Yeah. NBC absolutely flaming the Jets with a graphic that reminds them last time the Jets ... played on NBC was the butt fumble game, Thanksgiving 2012.
I always forget that was Thanksgiving, and I was very thankful for that play, and I still am to this day.
The last time the Jets played in a playoff game, Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl in 2010. The last time the Jets won the AFC East, Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson were 2 years old.
Name the quarterback.
2002.
Name the quarterback for the Jets in 2002 that won that.
I can't. I'm not an NFL
I'm gonna guess
guy.
Chad Pennington, but that's what I'm gonna go.
Chad Pennington was my guess. I mean, Vinny Testaverde might still be
Testaverde
around
was like
at that point.
98, I think.
But he was like, I feel like he was still.
It was Pennington. All right, perfect. Guess who the head coach was?
Hey, it was Herm
It
Edwards.
was. Hello. You played to win the game.
Hey, Vinny Testaverde was still on the roster at
He
that
was.
point, okay?
He wasn't the starter, but yes,
He was QB2.
he was QB2, and yeah, like 40 some odd year old Vinny Testaverde at the time.
But the real dig here was the last time the Jets won the Super Bowl, Neil Armstrong landed on the moon.
1969.
Ouch.
Yes.
Damn.
Nice.
Damn, guys.
So the moon is haunted and cursed the Jets, is what I'm hearing.
That's what it
To
was.
us. Neil Armstrong was definitely not a Jets fan.
There's no way. There's no way. I can't imagine the number of Purdue and Jets fans. Like that circle has to have no center.
This is one giant step for man, and fuck all Jets fans. No,
One giant step for man. Jets. Jets. We missed out not letting Eagles fans land on the moon first.
Go Birds.
Yo, go Birds!
Go Birds.
It's one small step for Birds. Fucking Philly.
The Eagles have
the
landed.
Eagles have landed.
Fuck the Cowboys.
Fuck the Cowboys.
Let's have some good news. We talked a little about the Centenary. God help me here. Centenary.
No.
Am I saying that right?
Centenary.
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 Centenary Gentlemen.
And ladies.
The gents and ladies.
The ladies. The ladies team is called the ladies.
They're not called the Lady Gents.
No, they're just called the ladies.
I know, Lady Gents would have been
Ooh,
so
it's
much
a
better.
lady.
The latest gents.
Lady Gents would have been so much
Ladies
better.
is gents
Ladies
too.
is gents too.
They brought their football back, their football team back. They're D3. Their new uniforms have Shreveport across the front, which is great. But if you don't know, there's a reason that we like this team so much. They were part of one of the silliest games in college football history. It was in 39. It was a 0-0 tie in Shreveport. It was the 77 punt game.
Kirk Ferentz could never.
It was so rainy and so messy that they would get the ball on first down and they would just punt it away. And they did that for 2 halves. They were trying to force a fumble. This game has so many records. Like most punts in a game, most punt yards in a game, 1,300 yards of punting by Texas Tech punter Charlie Calhoun. Most punt returns in a game, 20. Most combined punt and kickoffs returned, 20. Most punts, both teams, 77. Most punts in a game. Most punts returns in a game. Most punts returned, both teams. Fewest plays in a game, 12. There were 12 plays from scrimmage.
I put the newspaper clipping in the Discord, but it's so tiny. You can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
But I was able to like clip the number of punts. It in the Shreveport Times has the play-by-play of each drive.
Oh, I need to find that. I'm gonna have to go.
Oh,
pull
I
that up,
have
'cause
it.
That's cool.
I got it right here. It should come in the doc, but it's just gonna blow the Google Doc up. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna take like 3 pages.
Oh yeah, I can barely even get it on one
Oh,
screen.
that is large. Yes.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah.
I put the file. It's there. It's just I put it on one page, but it's just ridiculous.
Okay, I'll pull it. I'll pull something. But yeah, this game was insane, and so this is a legendary game in Sicko's history.
So just basically, I'm
And-
reading I'll read a little bit of the fourth quarter.
Go for it.
So it says Texas Tech first down and 10 to go. Calhoun punts out of bounds to the Centenary 22. Centenary first down and 10 to go from its 33. Bowerman punts to the Tech 29, but the ball is grounded by Olsak. Texas Tech first down and 10 to go. Calhoun gets off a nice punt that goes to the Bowerman on the Centenary 26, and he returns 10 yards to the 24 to the 34. And then Centenary again, first down and 10 to go from its 34. Bowerman punts to Hill, who signals for fair catch. He fumbles, but recovers on the Tech 32. So there's a full article in the Shreveport Times of the entire game. And it is just masterful work, giving you the entire play-by-play. Just incredible stuff.
I wish we could go back. Well, A, I wish we could go back in time so we could watch this game. B, I wish we could go back in time. And do you guys remember the Notre Dame NC State game that was played in a hurricane?
Oh, yeah. Could
Yep.
never forget
Yeah.
that one.
Yes.
I would like to go back and swap Notre Dame for Iowa and just see what happens. And if Kirk Ferentz decides to do this.
Punt on first, yeah. Why not?
Notre Dame trying to throw the ball into 60-mile-an-hour winds every single play is still the best thing that could have happened in that game.
That is true. That was also classic comedy.
It was such a great game to watch. I love watching every single moment of that game. I watched the entirety of that one. I could not turn it off because I just could not believe what I was seeing. And it was fantastic. Thank you so much, Brian Kelly. I appreciate it. I am ever grateful for your play calling in that game. Thank you so much.
I'm looking at another article about that game, and the opening line. This is from the Tyler Courier Times from Tyler, Texas. Playing in a steady downpour of rain that left miniature lakes on the field, Texas Tech and Centenary
Centenary.
battled to a scoreless tie on a Saturday afternoon, waging a punting duel in which 75 kicks were made. Good God. Natural field is better. Natural turf is better. I've always said it. Let's do some plugs. First off, we have our Patreon and Discord. I promise we don't get all grim all the time. It's just this week is making us grim.
I think it affected
This-
everybody, but again,
It did.
it really honestly it kind of sapped my memeing abilities because I was just sad. And then like everybody's making memes, and I'm like, okay, that's too soon. No, I can't do that. So I mean, yeah, we'd make some things every now and then.
I've tried to keep my excitement to a minimum because it sucks that the Pac-12 is dead,
Yes.
but just the fact that the Big 12 got all of this and it's all come together to make. I mean, the Big 12 is now by far the most fun conference. Like anything can happen and will happen because it's just a giant bowl of
The
chaos.
Chunky 16.
Yeah.
The Chunk 16 conference. For $5 a month, you can get access to our Discord and also our new podcasts, including Commish's Corner. Commish just released an episode about 5-0-3 Kansas, 1923, which was every time I edit one of these episodes for you about these teams that just tie all the time, you hear just all the quotes are just like, I fucking hate this. I fucking hate this.
But I love it. And you should love it too if you're a part of the Sickos Committee Patreon, because that's what I'm bringing you. I have a couple of schools lined up. I'm actually looking at like the worst conference champions of all time. I've been searching some of those, so I may have one of those that has the worst record, but still somehow manages to win their conference. I got a few of those lined up, and I don't know which one I'm going to pick, so I'm going to think about that coming up. But I'm just going to give you the conference, the ACC.
Oh boy.
That could
I
be a
was
lot of-
debating whether it was going to be the ACC or the MAC because there's going to be some good
Oh,
candidates for that.
there is
that
some
and
MAC
both.
too, but the one I have 3 candidates from the ACC that I can pick. I have no idea which one I'm going to pick, but they're just each of these seasons are ridiculous in their own way. It's just amazing, and I can't wait to just compile the notes on all 3 of these teams. I don't know which one's coming Friday though.
We also have our merch store, which is, oh God, I'm lost in tabs again. Oh God, oh God.
Oh God.
Oh no.
There we go. At sickos-committee.sellfy.store. If you want stuff for the season start, make sure that you get it in the orders in now. We also have our new Sickos weather service gear, which is great.
I'm gonna have to look.
Yeah,
at that.
I'm gonna I guess plug that a little bit further, but really, we're probably
That's a nice mug.
we're gonna
Mhm.
yes, plug for the store plug, but really we're gonna start releasing a little bit of the fall gear probably towards the end of the month, because in other places besides Texas that it's 105. I have to understand that people can actually open their windows and live in what we call in Louisiana gumbo weather, where you can just basically open the windows, turn off the air conditioning, and just let the coolness cool down your house. That doesn't happen in Texas until like maybe November now, I guess.
Right.
maybe November, because I know sometimes on December we will have like the heat index and turning on the air conditioning for Christmas or something. But yeah, I have to understand that the upper half of the United States actually does cool down a little bit sooner. So we may have some hoodies, some long sleeves coming in the next couple of weeks. So check it out, and it's going to be some good stuff. It's not like poor quality merchandise or anything like that. It is some good quality material, and the prints. I've been incredibly pleased with like people tweeting at us or giving us pictures in the Discord of the material. I am so thrilled on how amazing these things are coming out. So Sellfy has been doing fantastic with the print on demand, and get some of the gear, get some of it, get some stickers for your mugs or your laptop or whatever you put stickers on. I don't know if you put it on your kid's backpack when he goes back to school, whatever. Do something
Works
like
too.
that. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Get some of the gear, help us out. It helps us, keep this going, and maybe give you some more podcasts in the future, a little bit quicker in the season, and a bunch of other things that maybe we'll start traveling to some games more. Maybe we can attend some more crazy bowl game, like the Scooters
We're
Coffee
too
Bowl.
busy buying NF Tucks.
Yeah, I'm going to be there 3rd year, baby.
Yeah, that's right. Or we could get all this money and buy all these NF Tucks, which I think we need to get some of that
Line go up.
Ethereum.
It's our investment.
Is that what it is? Ethereum? Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good. You got it.
Not Doge coin or Dog coin or whatever it is.
Doge. It's fine.
Dogecoin.
Dogecoin,
It's fine.
whatever. Is that still a thing? I don't know.
Oh yeah. Oh
That
yeah.
is still
oh,
a
yeah.
thing.
Okay.
It's still a
alright.
thing.
Shout
Go
out
to the
to when it
moon.
was a thing the first time and they sponsored a NASCAR car.
Right.
Didn't they
that was
sponsor the Jamaican
amazing.
bobsled team too?
Yes, they did.
Yes,
That is a weird sequel to Cool Runnings.
I will actually slide this little bit of information in here. So if anyone's listening, you'll get the first to know it. I am going to the North Texas Cal game.
Woo!
And I will have
Ooh.
Sickos Committee stickers with me. So I'll tell you guys where to find me, and I'll have stickers for people.
Nice.
So there you go. Shout out to the Message Board Geniuses podcast. They are literally going places where I fucking refuse to go this week because, dear God, I can't do this. We also, they have lots of things where this is from I believe a Houston message board. Maybe I'm wrong, but I get the impression that Stanford and Cal would rather fall into the sea like Atlantis. We also wrote something for Transfer Portal and No Context Football's season preview for $10. They preview all the FBS schools. They have interviews with players. It's great. Commish wrote a great intro for it as well, talking about things we think are going to happen this year that are going to be sickos and fun. So check that out. We've got our YouTube channel that we are uploading our podcasts and getting ideas for actually doing, our big transition to video.
Right.
As line go up.
Pivot to video because
We're
the
gonna pivot
line
to
goes
video.
up.
I'm going to do my video about the top 10 things that will blow your mind about ACC football. And then it's just the YouTube thumbnail is just me going.
I was gonna say we have to see your thumbnail face. I'm sure the listeners love to see it too.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna do a Pokemon Nuzlocke where I name all of my Pokemon after college football teams. It's gonna be great, guys. Also, our Substack. We are still previewing our FCS teams there with our Sickos Committee Weather, Travel, and Football Master Almanac Notebook. I am gonna drop the logo into the chat because I like it so much. I'll drop it into the chat for everyone to see. Commish, talk about the Substack while you.
No, I'm not going to do it. Sorry. Definitely not.
God
I'm
damn
sorry.
it.
I'm literally tweeting with Scooter's Frisco Bowl right now. All right. I apologize.
Do you want me to just go?
I did see Scooters.
Let me just go over to the Scooters headquarters and talk to them for you.
Scooter. No. The Sickos Committee Weather, Travel, and Football Master Almanac Notebook. We got a couple of different FCS previews coming up. We try to do it in our Sickos warning, watch, and advisory method. Give you a little bit of detail of what they did in 2022. Give you a little bit of detail of what their schedule looks like in 2023. Like, do they play an FBS team? Why are they playing that FBS team? And some weird schedule quirks, such as some teams in the NEC, the Northeast Conference, playing 3 different teams playing 3 different Division II teams that don't have Wikipedia pages at all. So some of that stuff is going to definitely be coming out. On Monday, we do have the Missouri Valley Football Conference, home of the FCS champions, South Dakota State, also the powerhouse of North Dakota State. We got that coming out on Monday. Then on Wednesday, we have the NEC and the Patriot League preview. And then on Friday, we're going to have the MEAC and the SWAC on Friday. Give you a little some fun stuff on the weekend. And then we're going to have a couple of different other conferences. I believe we got the Pioneer coming, the Southland and the SoCon, and then the one lonely independent FCS team will have that. I don't know if we're going to put it by itself, but it'd be kind of funny if we do that, which is it's just Kennesaw State. So they're the only independent team, and I feel like just doing one post for them, just to be like the Independents, Kennesaw State.
I did drop the logo I made into the chat. I'm very proud of this logo. I like it a lot. It's very absinthe bodily, and I like it.
It is very good. I like it.
I was very pleased with that.
Beautiful.
Also, I'm just gonna say my writing got dragged by Commish today. I turned in my Patriot League preview, and I got dragged for calling Holy Cross a sicko's warning.
I didn't. Again, they made the playoffs. They. It's hard for me to rationalize you calling Holy Cross sicko's warning, but I was able to rationalize it after.
Because they're going to score 1,000. It's going to be great.
Fine. I was like, whatever. I was like, you really rated Holy Cross as a sicko's warning, and I was like, hold on. I was like, I'll keep your rating, but I need you to you just put like points, and more points. Take the over, and I'm like, we're not betters. Get out of here. But they have a great offense.
But the Sickos Committee Sportsbook will let you bet in 6 states and 4 countries.
You could bet in Ethereum, or you could trade in your NF Tux.
Oh, I like this.
Right.
Okay, no, this is synergy.
Starting the first crypto sports.
Crypto sportsbook.
I guarantee we're not the first.
Yeah,
We're
there's
definitely not
Yeah,
the first. That's
no.
happened
We're
before.
We're definitely
the Tech
not.
Bros have beaten us to that one.
It's fine. We're gonna start our own.
Sure, we can do it.
This
Sure.
is part of our conglomerate. Sickosbetting.biz. .mango.
Mango. Can we get like a different country?
Dot
What
.ru.
is- no,
Oh,
not
yeah.
RU. That's a little bit too far.
Moldova.
Dot
Is that
Moldova. We
MO?
gotta do that.
Dot FM.
That's right, because we actually have a relationship with NordVPN.
Hmm?
That was the weirdest thing to tweet ever. Because it was just like they didn't give us a code or anything. Like, here's this link from the Sickos committee. We can get you a discount on NordVPN. And I'm like,
You can watch the Pac- so you can watch the Pac-12.
So you
network
can watch
For
with
the
last
last year that it
I
exists.
was like, it felt so shady tweeting. But then I was just like, it's a great deal. It's like 63% off. And I'm like, nobody's going to take us serious at this. And then some people
we are just here to help you with all of your Moldovan VPN needs.
VPN needs, we will definitely hook you up. So yes, if we tweet out the NordVPN link, it's legit. It is a 63% off. If you already have a subscription to NordVPN, you can just tack it on for 2 years at that discount. So whatever you have, it's great. Use it. I don't know why they agreed to allow us to be an affiliate, but you know, since Jordan is a big proponent of Moldovan VPN, NordVPN decided to sponsor us in some sort of way to give you a huge discount, which would be cheaper probably than the Pac-12 network on Apple TV.
We also have Home Field Apparel. They have this week another new school drop. Kent State. They have a Captain Flash t-shirt that looks so good. And I don't know if they have grog, but God, I hope so.
Yes.
Please.
Please have grog.
Please have grog.
If you don't remember who grog is, go back to our Kent State episode. Also, refreshes of Kansas, Kansas State, and Mizzou. You get 15% off your first order with promo code yes, ha, 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 yes. That's 3 ha's. And also, if you use our link, we get a little kickback from that, which always helps as well. I'm going to predicate my 98 UConn thing with one thing, is that I'm going to want another shot at this.
Really?
I'm going to give you guys the story tonight. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be fine. But I got a bunch of info that was too late to put in. I'm going to give you the main story, and then I'm going to fill it in with some other stuff later on. It's fine.
Jordan's corner.
This is because 98 is that stupid time period where not everything has been archived yet on the internet, but not everything is available readily. It's that stupid gap in there. And here's the other problem for 1998 UConn. By the way, this is for our best season of all time for teams who are below 500 all time. Go Satwa Ab 500 at. This is part 39 of 41. We're almost there. And I don't know if you guys know this, but the 98-99 UConn Husky basketball team was also very good. In fact, they won a national championship. And so 98 UConn, double check me on that.
I thought it was
Or was it
97.
97-98? It was 97-98. Okay. So the problem is that there's a lot of focus in media and everything else on the 98 Huskies basketball and not a lot on 98 Huskies football.
Was this their Aeropostale era? Or
No, that was a little later because that was the Dan Orlovsky.
The
years.
Orlovsky days.
Okay.
I'm going to show you how little UConn itself cares for this time period in their football history, okay? On every school's website, football website, they tend to keep a list of all the seasons they played and scores and things like that.
Mhm.
This year, UConn happened to beat their rival UMass twice. Pretty big deal. I'm going to drop what they have on their online schedule in the chat.
98, 99 is when they won the national title.
Okay, that's what I was right.
So the 98 team probably didn't really, the 98 football team probably didn't get as much coverage. I just wanted to note that the Final Four that year was played in Tropicana Field.
If you guys will look at the image I just dropped, you'll notice that the UMass they have listed on there, not the
That's-
correct UMass.
No. Does
This is
UMass
from-
Lowell even have football?
I don't
No.
think so.
This is UMass. So this is UConn's own, like, this is their page. This is UConn's football's official page. And they don't even have that right. They don't have actually any of the stats from that season. And this is the best season of UConn football. So this is what I'm working with here. And this is why I finally got some other stuff that it was too late to fold it in.
UMass Lowell does have football. They're D2.
Really?
Yes.
but their like basketball stuff is D1 because they're in the America East. Who knows? Anyways,
Football was cut in
Oh,
2003.
had football. Okay.
had football. There you go.
Yeah.
This is UConn's only 10-win season in history. This is their big thing. I could have used a couple other Yankee Conference titles that they had. I could have used the Fiesta Bowl season, but I went with this because this was sort of the best of the best for them. I dropped the schedule in the chat for you guys. We can look along here. This was a team that was in what they called the Atlantic 10 Conference at this point.
The A10.
Yes. This A10 included teams such as, this was after the Yankee Conference imploded, by the way.
Yes.
So it's a lot of Yankee Conference like leftovers. So this is two divisions, a New England division and a Mid-Atlantic division.
This was fun.
The New
This
The New England division includes UMass, UConn, Maine, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island. And the Mid-Atlantic division includes Richmond, Delaware, Villanova, William and Mary, Northeastern, and James Madison.
when I did something for the Substack or like whatever happened to this conference, the Yankee Conference just ended like 2 years before, and then this is what the A10 came up with football after, because the NCAA had the rule that the Yankee Conference could not exist as a one sport league, which, you know, you just talked about that about, you know, the Pac-12 just being, or football just being a different league and then the other sports. So kind of comes up again back in 98.
Who is the coach of these championship or doing very well
I don't
UConn
I
Huskies?
have no idea. Maybe he will lead somebody to some USFL championships.
Maybe he will be assistant to the head coach at Northwestern. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's Skip Holtz. Skip Holtz takes the UConn job in 94 when they're still part of the Yankee Conference and leads them to probably one of their best periods of all time. He's got minus the coaches that coached like a game or two. He has the highest percentage winning record of any UConn coach. Not the most wins. The person that takes over from him, Randy Edsall. That was the first Randy Edsall experience. Will actually have the highest percentage
What
there.
type of music would the Randy Edsall experience play?
Lots of soft rock.
Yacht rock.
Lots of yeah,
Like, is it yacht rock or just soft rock?
soft rock. I'm thinking like Nickelback.
Oh, okay.
That's soft
I
rock.
don't know. I can.
No.
I don't think that's
adult
soft rock.
adult alternative.
I mean,
sorry.
I could see, you know, Randy Edsall singing "What a Fool Believes." I could see that little Doobie Brothers.
Do y'all know where Skip played football?
I do, but only because I looked it up, so I will not answer.
You know where Skip
I
played
do
football?
not.
Skip played for Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read a little bit of his Wikipedia article here because this part right here is good. While playing football in Fayetteville, this is Fayetteville, Arkansas, Skip played for his school's football team as quarterback position, bringing moderate success to the program. As a high school junior, he visited Notre Dame and met with head football coach Jerry Faust and head basketball coach Digger Phelps. In his final year of high school, Skip was denied admission to Notre Dame due to average grades and his failure to learn a foreign language.
Wait, what?
Coaches Faust, yeah,
Oh,
apparently so.
good lord!
Coaches Faust and Phelps encouraged Skip to enroll at nearby Holy Cross College, located adjacent to the University of Notre Dame, Indiana. After 2 years of study at Holy Cross, Skip had improved his grades and transferred to Notre Dame. After his first year, Skip decided he wanted to speak with Coach Faust about walking on the football team during his senior year. The discussions were cut short, however, as after the 1985 season, Coach Faust resigned. Replacing Faust was Lou Holtz,
Oh,
who eagerly accepted his son as a walk-on. Skip began spring practice before the 1986 season as a quarterback, but quickly changed to flanker due to his lack of throwing ability. As a flanker, he earned 54 yards on 3 receptions at the Blue Gold intra-squad game of the spring of 86. During the fall of 86, Skip played in all 11 games on special teams. He never caught a pass, but rushed once for 1 yard.
this
We love a Nepo baby,
This
don't
is-
we?
Oh,
this
my God.
reminds me of Terry Bowden's time when Bobby Bowden was at West Virginia.
Well, you know who gave Skip Holtz his first coaching job?
Yeah,
It was at Florida State under Bobby Bowden.
no way.
So based off being the wide receivers coach and offensive coordinator at Notre Dame, he gets the Connecticut head job and does okay there. But this year, which will actually be his last year at UConn, went 10-3, 6-2 in conference, and tied for the division championship. Okay, let's look at the schedule. I dropped it in the chat. We start with non-conference at Colgate. They won 45-35. Then we start getting to the conference bit. Maine, which ended up being a 35-27 win. They are ranked at this point. This is number 21 UConn. I'd like to show you what the yearbook put in about this game because it's great. The next game, they play Yale. And UConn Yale has a little bit of a rivalry.
Ooh, yeah.
And you know, we all love a good yuck fail shirt. And there is a whole layout in the yearbook dedicated to the yuck fail shirt. So then we keep going with the schedule. We have
Well, how much did
at
they,
Yale.
how much did they yuck fail by?
That was 63-21 where they beat Yale at the Yale Bowl. They lose in New Hampshire against the University of New Hampshire, 34-20. Beat ranked Hofstra, 40-18. Beat ranked UMass the first time, 44-41. Beat Rhode Island, 31-17. Beat Northeastern, 32-22. And then the game that sort of knocked the air out of them. They lose to Delaware, 59-17.
Woo.
Ouch.
I'm going to come back to this one. Put a pin in it. Then they beat number 6 William and Mary, 34-27. They beat again ranked UMass, number 7 UMass, 28-27. So they beat their rival twice in a year. And then they go to the playoffs. We'll talk about that in a second. I don't know if you guys remember 1998 UMass, but we've talked about them before.
We have.
Commish, do you remember what happened that year with UMass?
Yeah, I did. UMass played an incredible amount of close games, and somehow they either lost a few, but they wound up winning the national title.
They won the national title that
Yep.
year. And UConn can say they beat them twice, which I think is pretty good.
That's awesome.
UConn would go on to beat Hampton in the first round of the playoffs and then lose to eventual runner-up Georgia Southern, being peak Georgia Southern, 52-30 in the last game of the season. This season was pretty chaotic in terms of UConn. Oh God, gotta be careful there.
Whoa.
UConn
Whoa.
playing games close that they absolutely should not have.
Our comment section is going to be blowing up.
Going to be blowing up. Curse of You is going to kill me for that. Like you'll see that a lot of their wins over ranked teams, minus the Hofstra game, it was all pretty close. Like William and Mary, 34-26. UMass the second time was 28-27. The Hampton first round of the playoffs was 42-34. It was pointsy, but it was close, that kind of thing. The first time that UMass plays UConn, the 41-44 game, the UMass QB throws for 270 yards. The UConn QB, which is Brian Hoffman at this point, is 413. UConn actually loses their QB about halfway through the season for a couple games. And so they're still clicking on all cylinders even through that. And the last game, you'll notice that or I have it right here. Sorry, you notice that UConn's quarterback was Shane Stafford. And then Todd Bankhead was for UMass. And Shane Stafford was not a passing quarterback as much. So you had a difference of that second game when UConn wins 28-27, they only throw for 129 yards. Like they're way under their normal number there. They're just trying to like get that game out of the way. This is from a blog article about this from one of the UConn SB Nation blogs. Basically, Skip Holtz took the reins over in 94, sparking something resembling a turnaround. From 1995 on, Skip Holtz's teams went 30-16. The 95 team, led by all-time leading rusher Wilbur Gilliard, started off 6-0 for the first time in 96 years.
Wow.
UConn's first loss came at the Ram Napping Trophy game, which is the Rhode Island game. And they lost 3 of their last 5 games, finishing 8-3. Disappointing finish apparently caused Holtz to make freshman quarterback Shane Stafford cry after a loss to James Madison. So, yeah. Apparently, that was just the trick to turn around the program. 3 years later, a senior-laden squad put up together the best pre-D1A season in UConn history, led by Stafford, who concluded his career second in school history in completions and passing yards and tied for first in touchdowns. His top receiving targets, Carl Bond, hit 61 catches, and John Fitzsimmons hit 53, are third and second in school history in receiving yards, respectively. Stafford this quarterback, Shane Stafford, played about a dozen years in the Arena League. The 98 Huskies went 10-3, averaging over 33 points a game, and defeated eventual national champion UMass twice. The second game in Amherst on November 21 saw backup safety Jamar Wilkins force future NFLer Marcel Shipp to fumble the ball in the final minutes, preserving a 28-27 UConn win. The victory catapulted UConn to the Atlantic 10 New England Division title and its first postseason berth ever. And this is all fun and games. It's going well. Season's great. But then I told you that this was Skip Holtz's last season there. I don't know if you all know where Lou Holtz ended up in 98.
Maybe
South Carolina.
Yeah, it's like South
maybe
Carolina.
somewhere in the South.
Yeah, USC. The other USC.
Yes, not
And
the one
after-
that moved conferences.
Skip got a bunch of questions leading up to this last game against Georgia Southern about whether he was going to leave. And he's like, I don't want to, that would just distract the kids. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And then he goes and becomes offensive coordinator at South Carolina. And then they find a little dude by the name of Randy Edsel to come and pick up the pieces there the first time. The yearbook mentions also that this was the 100th season of football in stores. UConn football started in 1898, and this was their 100th season, their best season in history, and their only appearance in postseason play in history. During the season, they beat eventual champs UMass twice, and there were many leaders on this team, including, we talked about Shane Stafford, junior quarterback. There was also Brian Hoffman, who stepped in when Shane Stafford got hurt. Offensive guards, including Dennis Callahan, senior nose guard Khalid Riley, junior free safety Jeff DeLucia, junior quarterback Jordan Younger, and senior linebackers Eric Rogers and Perry Rice. And then the whole last paragraph is about Skip Holtz leaving. But when I say that this season gets erased at UConn, like, there are no box scores, there are nothing. And that sucks.
Yeah.
And I wish that, like, UConn itself would just respect this team more, because this team was very good. And this is the UConn, like, basketball is all thing. And even, it hurts that this was a great year for them. But even if it had been a middling year, it feels like this year would have just gotten eaten up.
I mean, they could be out here claiming to have a transitive national championship twice over, and they're not. What are we doing here?
I'll also say that because Georgia Southern has a box score for that game, the final game of the season, that UConn was actually within 5 of Georgia Southern heading into the fourth quarter. It was 35-30. And Georgia Southern got away. Georgia Southern just started running all over them at the very end. The other thing I wanted to mention about the season, and again, this is not to drag UConn, but to talk about how weird this one game was. Look at the schedule again, guys. Look at the Delaware game.
Mm-hmm.
This was the Delaware loss 59-17 in stores. About half of the single game Delaware records for passing yards and everything else exist in this game. Delaware QB Matt Nagy.
Wait.
Wait, that Matt Nagy?
Matt Nagy?
The pride of Mannheim Central, Matt Nagy.
The former Bears head coach?
Yeah.
The Kansas City
Noted
offensive coordinator?
Lancastrian.
Yeah, he was Delaware QB.
Huh.
I did not know that.
No idea.
Yeah, Delaware QB. And absolutely, like, he holds a ton of the records, including this season he completed, so the big one here is that he holds 6 of the top 8 passes completed in a game records, including 3 that he set this single year, 25 against Maine, 23 against UConn, and 23 against William and Mary. Also holds the record for yards passing in a half. He passed for 358 yards in the first half against UConn. 358 in a single half. In the whole game, he passed for 556. That is a Delaware record.
Yeah, I'm looking at his Wikipedia page specifically. Matt Nagy set 11 school single season passing records that year, including yards in a season 2,916 and yards in a game 556 against UConn. 20 TDs against 12 interceptions. He would have had a hell of a Detmer rating.
He had 851 yards in 2 consecutive games. Maine and UConn were back to back. His passer rating versus UConn was 284.3. His favorite target, Eddie Conti, had 15 receptions against UConn. So yeah, there is a ton of that game was so weird and Delaware just set so many records. Like, it wasn't a great Delaware team either. They were fine, but definitely rocked fucking UConn to their core. I do want to wrap this up with a reading that isn't from this season, but is something that I found looking for something else for UConn and just absolutely killed me. I posted a little of it for our friend No Escalators. This falls under my favorite topics, which include no one has school spirit anymore.
Love this.
And also, I guess I just love America too much. This is from the
Perfect group.
Yes.
This is from the Connecticut Daily Campus newspaper.
Okay.
This is Monday, October 22nd, 1956. Okay. Cries for, quote, school spirit, and more school spirit are all that UConn students have been hearing for the past few years. But what happened when some students showed some of that elusive school spirit on the University of Massachusetts campus last week in an attempt to recapture Jonathan IV? Immediately, cries of complaint echoed across stores. UMass had captured the pup, and UConn had gone to go get it back. I guess I just love my school too much. A Daily Campus editorial described the activities as, quote, inexcusable, immature, and degrading. The student president, John Flahive, and UConn's assistant director of student personnel, Reuben B. Johnson, frowned upon the activities as representing, quote, vandalism and destruction of property. All three sources implied that they would hate to see a recurrence of such dastardly behavior. What is this thing called school spirit? Is it something that can be turned on and off like a water faucet? Is it something that can be summoned and dismissed like a passive genie from Aladdin's lamp? Or is it something dynamic, which unleashes itself upon occasions it itself considers appropriate? The definition of school spirit is the latter, of course, for school spirit cannot be restrained, only to be aired at certain times as Aladdin deems opportune. It is a restless loyalty which can neither be conveniently turned on or off, nor rigidly controlled. It either exists freely or it evaporates.
I'm just imagining school spirit as like the little fate lights from Brave.
Mm-hmm. The activities that UConn students engaged in on October 8th in Amherst were a result of dynamic school spirit. The support that rose spontaneously behind an unbelievable UConn team in New Haven September 29th was the result of dynamic school spirit. Was anyone killed in Amherst? Was anyone shot at? Was anyone maimed for life? What actually happened that dreadful night in Amherst? Got a lot of questions here.
It's just saying do crimes so long as you don't physically harm anyone. But property crimes are fine.
The question of was anyone maimed for life implies that someone was maimed.
Oh.
But not
for life.
As long as it's not for life, that's fine.
About 150 Connecticut students made a 55-mile trip to UMass to retrieve Jonathan, their kidnapped husky. In the course of the evening, a suspected fraternity was searched. Quite a bit of enthusiastic noise was made, and appropriate symbols of UConn superiority were placed at strategic points around campus with paint, grass killer, and a little lacquer before their inspired UConnites departed, parentheses, under slight gendarme pressure, in parentheses, for their campus. Certainly the UMass administration got angry, probably almost as angry as the UConn student body had gotten. UMass got so angry that before nightfall, fortunately for Amherst residents, it is rumored, Jonathan was safely back at its store's campus. As for the other consequences of that quest, not a soul had perished, been shot, or permanently maimed. Again, we got three things here. Either at Amherst or on the, quote, hazardous roads to and from it. Jonathan was home, and UMass was slightly the worse for the wear, a victim of some school spirit that it and many UConn scoffers had failed to comprehend.
The hazardous roads between stores in Amherst, Massachusetts.
Interstate 91 is pretty scary.
It is? Okay.
As someone
I've never driven it. All right. I'll take
Connecticut drivers are fucking crazy.
Okay.
And then they talk about something that happened in 34.
Oh.
We're going to go back a little bit.
Back a little bit.
In 1934, the good old days, the University of Connecticut, then Connecticut College, kidnapped Rhode Island University's mascot ram before the two schools' traditional football games. 20 carloads of Rhodey fans came into stores in search of their mascot. They tore down the football goalposts and part of the bleachers and tried to get the scoreboard. 6 of them were captured by UConnites and, quote, detained for the night. You could just kidnap people in 34.
What?
One UConn student was, quote, removed to Rhodey's Kingston campus.
Am I being detained?
Am I being detained?
So
yes.
So 6 6 Rhode Island students were captured and detained at the UConn campus, and it looks like one of the Rhode Island people kidnapped a UConn student and took them back. Was the affair condemned by the two schools' administrations? To the contrary, the institution's president thought, quote, thought it was good joke. A picture of the UConn Fieldhouse today shows the two presidents shaking hands when the Ram was returned just before the game. Instead of criticizing the affair, the Connecticut College president, Dr. Charles C. McCracken, constructively suggested that, quote, to appease ruffled feelings, a trophy should be offered annually to the school winning the football game.
I'm sorry, read that guy's name again.
Charles C. McCracken. No groans about degrading, immature, and inexcusable behavior uttered by either side. The interchange was recognized as a manifestation of school spirit, not an abhorrent crime. School spirit is more than nicely timed cheer at a football game. It is also enthusiasm. UConn students displayed in Amherst last week. Perhaps it should be channeled, but it should not be condemned. God bless you, sir.
I'm sorry. Like, his name was Charles C. McCracken?
Charles C. McCracken. Dr. Charles C. McCracken.
Damn. He's talking about immaturity. I'm talking about C. McCracken.
Mm-hmm. I just want to know if anyone was shot.
Like, I mean, how many people are getting shot in Connecticut in 98? Jesus Christ.
Not 98, 56.
But still.
Enough, I guess.
Enough. Like one person got shot and that was it.
Did anyone
No one
die?
died?
Were they maimed for life?
It sounded like with the Ken Jeong character from The Hangover.
But did you die?
Were you maimed for life? A little dramatic, Mr. McCracken.
God, it's so
Dr.
good.
McCracken. I'm sorry. Dr. C. McCracken.
This is my favorite. Like, I guess I just love my school too much. I guess school spirit doesn't count me, going and using grass killer lacquer and paint at UMass. We didn't even kidnap anyone this time.
They don't have school spirit anymore. They're not kidnapping for football games.
Anyways, congrats, UConn. 98 season was great. You managed to beat your rival twice and win your only division title and go to your only playoff. And that was great. And we've got 2 more teams, Buffalo and ULM.
That's right. 2 more to go in the BSO AT, FT, WA, B500 AT. So close.
Well, I think we all feel a little better being able to talk about silly college football stuff and not the serious stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. And we will talk to everyone else on Tuesday.
I'll see you later, and you all can see my Kraken as I leave.